I think the Superman curse is real. I legitimately think that that is a real and actual thing. Why that is, I don't know, but apparently it's a thing. Sheila! I was hoping she would come in here. Hi, Special! There is this belief or rumor that there's a curse on Superman. It's more so on the actor who portrays Superman. But personally, I might argue that it's on the franchise itself, the intellectual property itself. That might be where the curse in itself lies. Look at my special dog. Sheila, come here. What a special girl. Yes, look at this special girl. Sheila. We love you, Sheila. You're so special. Did you know that you're so special? You know why? Because you're my dog. Yes. Thank you for being in the video. You're so good, Sheila. So this movie, for me, gets a 3 out of 10. And it would have gotten a fucking 2 out of 10 had there not been a dog in it. But there was a dog in it, so thanks be to God. It got 3 whole points out of 10 instead of 2. 2 out of 10 would have been 1 out of 5 because we like to reduce fractions on my channel. But anyway, this is actually the 3rd take I've had to do to make this video. So hopefully this will be it. Believe it or not, I normally do everything in 1 take. That's normally how I work, but I think it's the Superman curse, you guys, that's coming after me right now. Okay, now, for the 3rd time. Now, I've said this 3 times now tonight. Maybe I'll say it more times. Let's hope we get it this time. I am not disparaging the actors here really at all, because it's never their fault that a movie is bad, at least in my opinion. I think that's way the fuck more often than not completely and entirely the director's fault, and maybe the studio's fault as well, because the studio's funding the movie. The studio is, you know, helping the director as the movie is being made, etc., etc. Okay, the actors just are signed on to a project, and then they come on and they do their job, and that's what they do. You know, we don't, it's not very complicated, right? So if someone is miscast or not good at acting, or something of that nature, I don't actually pin it on the actors. In all seriousness, I really don't, because I don't think they should be blamed for that. If someone is not good at acting, well, then isn't it the casting director and the studio's fault for hiring them to begin with? And if someone also isn't good at acting, isn't it also arguably the director's fault for not properly directing that actor within the scene? Or maybe they're not working together well enough for them to get a good take, and so they have to use a bad one? I don't know. But I actually very much enjoyed the Guardians of the Galaxy Volumes 1 and 2. Volumes 3, 2, and 3. And James Gunn directed those. Those are great movies. Okay? I really liked them. I wouldn't say they're like, you know, top tier cinema or anything, but I had a lot of fun when I watched them, and I would watch them again. I haven't, but I would, generally speaking. I don't remember the last time I got this heated about a movie, because I was like real mad. And now here I am doing take 3 of this video, and I wonder if I'm even going to be able to use this. So we'll see. Wow. James Gunn is an idiot, and this movie absolutely fucking sucked. And I really did say this when I was talking to my husband about the movie. Okay, you guys, maybe I'm a little bit ashamed, but maybe I'm not ashamed at all. I was like, I want to wring James Gunn's neck. I don't want to wring his neck. Maybe I just want to, like, put my hands around his neck and be like, Americans don't like dry humor. We don't find it funny. Stop trying to get Americans to laugh at British jokes, because it's not fucking happening, bro. Out here we moisturize, okay? We don't find dry humor funny. And out here, actually, for that matter, we do this thing called getting straight to the fucking point. We don't beat around the bush like them British folk do. We don't beat around the bush like them English folk do. I have nice teeth because I'm American, okay? And if you're gonna take an American intellectual property like, oh, I don't know, Superman, maybe you ought to take it seriously. Putting that out there. Putting that out there, bro. Okay, I was gonna start the video with this, but I forgot, and I don't even, whatever. Okay, and this is what I messed up last time, so let's try not to mess it up this time. Okay, yeah, that's the theme. Oh, sorry, I can't remember if I said this, but what was going for this movie was there was a dog character, and we got a cool theme. We got a cool musical theme, okay? This is what I was going to start the vid with, and I kind of did start the vid with it, because we're going to be here for at least 30 minutes, aren't we? It goes like this. Thank you, God, for giving us food. Thank you, God, for giving us food. For the friends that we meet, for the food that we eat. Thank you, God, for giving us food. That was a grace that we sang at my summer camp. And it was funny because the counselors would actually always mix it up with the one for the Indiana Jones theme. So that grace song, what's interesting is, like, songs like that are kind of one of the only things that I'm aware of that are kind of more oral history only. So I went to summer camp in the Aughties, and that song was, that grace was likely made up by someone starting in the late 70s, and by the time I was going to camp 20 years later, we were still seeing that Superman theme for grace. Anyway, the Indiana Jones one might be even better, but they would mix it up because they sound so similar, and the counselors would, whatever, it doesn't matter. But the Indiana Jones one goes, God is great and God is good. Let us thank him for our food. Did I just mix it up again? I'm not fucking doing this a fourth time. God is great and God is good. Let us thank him for our food. God is great and God is good. Amen. That's the Indiana Jones theme one. What I will say about this movie is that I'm glad it made me want to watch the other Supermans. I'm glad it made me want to watch the Christopher Reeve Supermans, the Henry Cavill Supermans, maybe even like the cartoon Superman. I used to watch that as a kid. I watched Superman on Cartoon Network, Batman on Cartoon Network. I digress. This movie sucked. Syphilitic cock. Excuse me. This movie sucked. British syphilitic cock. Or English syphilitic cock. I think y'all say English now. I don't like the English fucking up my movies. I'm so sick of it. I keep saying that. I've said it over and over and over and over again, but here we are, maybe the 232nd time, and I'm still mad about it. Stop fucking up my movies. First of all, stop making American movies if you can't do it, and James Gunn, you can't do it. This movie was horrible. I didn't know we could have a Superman movie this bad, yet here we are. I didn't think the 2008 Brandon Routh Superman movie was bad. I liked it. Yeah, again, it wasn't top tier cinema, but wow, this one took a shit on my childhood and spit it out. I don't appreciate that. Okay? James Gunn was trying to do way the fuck too many things with this. And let me tell you, bro, I hope you watch this because you're going to be entertained. If anything, the biggest laugh that happened within the entire movie was because of something I said in relation to the movie. Not because of an actual joke in the movie, because, by the way, no one fucking laughed at your jokes. This blows my mind because the fact of the matter is that they do table reads for all screenplays, and I am just shocked. And this is, again, why I wanted to wring his neck, because all these actors and or other actors or whoever the fuck does this sat down, read this script. James Gunn heard these jokes being said out loud and was like, yeah, that sounds good. We'll go with that. And then after that, he had these actors in front of him. They said these things on camera. He watched them do it, replayed the dailies and watched them do it, and again said, yeah, we'll go with that. And then he had people, all the professional editors who edit, color correct, sound correct, add in music, add in special effects, all of that. This movie made the final cut, watched it again, and said, yeah, that looks good. Okay, that's gonna be the theatrical cut. Bro, quit. Take a break. Maybe make Guardians of the Galaxy 4 or something, because don't you fucking dare make another Superman movie. Don't do it. Okay, let's get into the actual plot of this movie, because I've raged long enough about this shit. First of all, I've told you guys this before, but I'll tell you again. I can tell if I'm gonna like a movie within the first 10 seconds of it starting, of the actual movie starting. I can tell. And within the first 10 seconds of this movie, we got a bunch of sound bites. It was honestly like 1 to 2 sentences. I want to say maybe 6 or 7 sentences. It was like blah blah blah. It was like 3 decades ago, Superman was sent to Earth by his parents. 3 hours ago, he started a fight with so and so. 3 minutes ago, for the first time ever, he lost the fight. Blah blah blah. And okay, oh my god, not a good start. Not a good start. Luckily, we then saw Crypto, his dog. She's asleep. I'm not going to wake her up. And I love dogs. And this was a very convincing CGI dog, even though I normally say I hate CGI dogs. This one was cute. We got to see his dog within the first 5 minutes. So cool. Okay. This movie was so bad. This movie was so... okay. We're getting into the plot. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time talking about this because I'm so fired up about it. Yes, this is something I get fired up about. Fight me. The plot. I was talking to one of my cinema nerd friends, and he was like, what's the plot? And I said, basically, Lex Luthor has technology superior to that of Krypton, which is the planet that Superman came from. And he's throwing temper tantrums about it the whole movie, and then the Justice League is sort of established. That's the plot of the movie. I do not understand Lex Luthor's motivation. It was obvious in the movie that, like, he just had it out for Superman, and he was like, first of all, he's like basically a god. Like, Lex Luthor is basically a god. That pissed me off immediately, because the fact of the matter is, in all the Superman lore going back to the fucking 1930s when he was created, okay? I just straight up lost my train of thought. Superman is from a different planet, right? He's from Krypton, okay? And because his planet was being destroyed, his parents sent him here. It's borderline Christ-like, but we're not even going to get into that today. They sent him here, and they also had very, 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 very superior technology to ours. Like, that was unfucking heard of when Superman was created. A spaceship that can travel from a planet we don't even know about, not one in our solar system, not one in our galaxy, but a different one, can transport an infant safely to another planet. Not a thing. Superman was created prior to the moon landing, prior to space travel, okay? But it's science fiction, right? Anyway, so Krypton's technology is superior to that of Lex Luthor. In this fucking garbage pile of a movie, Lex Luthor had superior technology to Krypton. He just had it. He just happened to have it, like, on hand, you know? I think the point of this movie was sort of that, like, Superman was, like, kind of new at being Superman. That's the thing, is that we just jumped into it and everything was already established. Like, he was already Superman. Like, this wasn't, when my husband and I were driving to the theater, I was like, is this gonna be an origin story? And he's like, oh yeah, I think so. He was like, I bet like the first 10 minutes will be an origin story. And I was like, probably. No, we just jumped into it, and he had already been Superman for a bit. But that being said, it was established that he was 30 in this movie, so maybe he had been Superman already for 5 to 7 years. Luckily, Lex Luthor just had technology on hand that was already more advanced than an alien technology that was able to safely send their infant here from their dying planet. He just like whipped it out. He had the ability, he had made all these suits that could fly like Superman. And he also, it didn't make any goddamn sense, James Gunn, why Lex Luthor, who was this villain, right, had this giant team of people who were willing to do any and everything to harm Superman. Like, that made no sense. Okay? None whatsoever. Bro, come up with a fucking British superhero, okay? Miss me with this shit. Go ahead and make that movie. Your superhero can eat baked beans and have bad teeth and be super in some way. Okay, I didn't understand Lex Luthor's motivation. He kind of said it at one point that, like, he wanted his technology to surpass that of Superman, who is an alien race. Okay, but why? We never got an answer. He was just an angry dude throwing a fit about how Superman isn't defeated by him yet. He just really wants to defeat Superman. He just really wants to kill Superman. He just really has it out for Superman, because he does. Sorry, y'all English folk go like this. For real. Bro, for real. Anyway, I said, basically, Lex Luthor is throwing temper tantrums about Superman having superior technology to his, and the Justice League is sort of established. We had the Justice League. I don't think they showed up until well into Act 2, which is terrible writing, James Cameron, by the way. You see this? Act 1, Plot point 1, dramatic context, midpoint, rest of the movie, dramatic context. Plot point 2, act 3, resolution. Setup, confrontation, resolution. Okay? Sorry, I know you can't see this very well, but you can kind of see it and I can read it to you. You might want to review this, James Gunn. I don't think you're really familiar with this structure, which is what all American movies use at all times forever. So I can email it to you. Just hit me up. Anyway. Is that a better lighting? I just woke up my computer. Hi. Okay. So the who showed up at in the movie. I think they showed up at the midpoint or maybe at act 2. It doesn't matter. It was such a garbage movie. Oh, that is better lighting. Thanks, computer. So they weren't yet the Justice League. They were calling themselves the Justice Gang, and I don't know why they had that weird guy to be Green Lantern, but anyway. Green Lantern, Hawk Girl, who is my fave. We might talk about her in a minute. And Mr. Terrific were the Justice Gang so far, okay? But I guess they weren't fully established because Superman also wasn't in on it with them yet. But anyway, I love Hawk Girl. Hawk Girl is my fave. She's real cool. Her name is Shiara. Dope name. I'm not actually sure what her origins are, but she's a woman. She has beautiful red hair. Her hair is red. Her hair is red. James Gunn. She has red hair. And she has hawk wings. And she wears a mask. And she's got a mace. Okay? I didn't think we saw the mace, but apparently we did see the mace very briefly at one point, but it was barely there. And wow, I cannot believe you included her screeching like a hawk, James Gunn. That's further proof you're a total fucking dumbass. But anyway, there was also so going back to the plot of the movie for a second, there was also this we'll come back to that. I actually really like the gal who played Hawk Girl. I think she's really good at acting. I think she's very beautiful. But why didn't you hire a woman who had red hair? Lois's hair was dyed very poorly. It looked blue, honestly. And then Jimmy Olsen's hair, I didn't see until the very end because you chose to use poorly lit shots all the way until the end for Jimmy Olsen, James Gunn. But he had like a teeny tiny bit of red that you could barely see in his hair. He's known for being a red-haired character. They could have used the same gal as Shiara, but they could have... luckily we have this invention called hair dye. Could have dyed her hair. Maybe there's some kind of hair dye shortage I don't know about. But so yeah, Justice League kind of showed up. I didn't even tell you the plot because it didn't even really make sense. So yeah, Superman got fucked up at the very beginning of this movie, and then his robots in his lair helped him out. And they healed him. You know, that was cool. Okay, I thought it was cool to see his lair. And we also saw his mom and dad from Krypton. Their names are Jor-El and Lara. They sent a message with him when they yeeted him out of their planet that was getting destroyed. It was in a different language, which would actually make sense, because why would they speak English? But what pissed me off a lot was apparently the message was damaged when it came with him, so he was only able to watch the first half. And then later, this pissed me off so much. I was so mad. Basically, the message was saying, like, our planet is dying, we're sending you away so that hopefully you can live and do well on Earth. We love you, bye, right? James Gunn, this fucking British moron, this fucking English moron, was like, I'm gonna change it so that it turns out that the message, that the part of the message that was lost actually said that he should go to Earth and he should kill and dominate and take over the planet. And then Lex Luthor was able to use that as leverage to make Superman look bad so that Lex Luthor would be on top. You guys, I can't explain this movie to you. I can't explain the plot to you in a way that is coherent because the movie itself is not coherent. At all. It's all over the place. There's a cajillion different things going on. Going back to what I was saying a minute ago, there's very obviously some attempted, is it allegory? Attempted allegory. Fuck, is that the word? Yeah, allegory. Attempted allegory for the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, but instead of calling it that, obviously, they call it fictional names. James Gunn made up these fictional country names that were, how would you say this? You can't read it because it's backwards. Sorry. Boravia. Boravia? I would say Boravia, but in the movie they kept saying Boravia, which was so annoying. They made up a conflict that was supposed to be allegory for the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, but he used fictional names. Bro, if you have to use fictional names, like, maybe you should slow your roll and think of a different fucking plot entirely. Because if you don't want to take a side on that issue, don't even put it in there. America's on top of it, James Gunn. Though, to be fair, you've directed multi-million-dollar movies, and I have not, but beside the point. That pissed me off. That he changed the lore. Superman's parents never said that. I'm pretty fucking confident that his birth parents on Krypton wouldn't have said something like that to him. Oh, because, I don't know, their planet was being blown up by a third party? Why the fuck would they be like, oh no, our planet is being blown up by a third party. Let's put our son in the spaceship and send him to Earth and tell him to dominate that planet. So fucking stupid, bro. Okay, I want to see if there's anything else I want to talk about. I will say this. Is that the biggest laugh that came out of the whole audience during the theater was because of something I said in relation to the movie. Not any joke that was purposely made within the movie, because just about no one laughed at any of those jokes. James Gunn. The thing I said that made people lol was, unfortunately, it's been a long time since I've seen more context about this, but Superman has this secret lair, right, in Antarctica, and only he can get into it. But what happened within the first 20 minutes of the movie was he was in it for a moment, and then he healed and got out of it, and then Lex Luthor just walked in. Just I didn't even finish what I was fucking telling you before. What I said was that made everyone lol, which you're incapable of doing in the United States, James Gunn, was so once they went in there, once Lex Luthor and his team of people who are terrorists trying to kill Superman, they went in there and they put this cage around Krypto's head, and captured him. And the woman, there's this like random woman who can turn her hands into blades and make metal of herself, and she's also like a computer. Whoever the fuck she was wasn't established. I don't even think they called her by any name because I don't remember what it was. He had another character that was not established. Anyway, she put this cage over Krypto's head and they captured him. And when she said that, I said, "Bitch!" loudly enough for everyone to hear, and they lulled. Maybe you should hire me, James Cameron. I mean, sorry, not James Cameron. Well, you too, bro. But James Gunn, if you want to make people loll, if you want to make Americans loll, like, hit me up. Okay. So, there was too much going on in this movie. When we left the theater, I heard this other woman who was also leaving our same theater, and she said, "Sometimes there are too many characters." And I was like, abso-fucking-lutely, because there were maybe 16. My husband brought up Avengers Endgame, and there were, in fact, like 100 of them, honestly. But even though there were 100 Avengers in that movie, that was still a much better movie, and it had a very clear plot. Unlike this movie. My husband also said that Mr. Terrific was given more character development and was kind of a more interesting character than Superman, and he was right. Like, okay, at one point, Lois Lane, Lex Luthor had captured Superman and put him in a pocket universe because apparently Lex Luthor is like a fucking god or something. And she was trying to find him. And she was able to get in touch with the Justice Gang, they were calling themselves. And she was like, "Oh, we gotta find Superman, da da da." And I don't know why, but Green Lantern and Hawkgirl were like, Zoe. Hawkgirl was like, "I'm gonna read my paper." Mr. Terrific was the only one who was like, "Yeah, let's go find him." What the fuck? Why would that happen? If they were trying to beat the Justice Gang, wouldn't they, try to find Superman? Who's only the most powerful member of the entire group? Okay. I could make this video a lot longer, but it's already been a half hour. So we've been here a while, and I think I've said a lot. I'll say what I liked about this movie in a minute, okay? But the fact of the matter is that if you don't have a good script to start, you will not have a good movie to finish. And if you don't have a good script to start and you end up with a good movie as an end result, the fact of the matter is that someone came in and did a fucking rewrite of the script. Okay? Having a good script is crucial. Obviously, this movie made money because it's Superman. People are going to show up. I showed up, right? That's not surprising. But this was 10 times worse than the Brandon Routh one, which wasn't even bad. My husband was also saying that Batman vs. Superman was a better movie than this, and he's right. This might be one of the worst movies I've seen in a really long time. But again, that's on me. I don't know why I had such high expectations. I should have thought less of the director of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. But anyway, there were very sexist depictions of women in this movie. There were two characters who were these, like, bimbos, and they borderline they looked there were actually 4 different characters that looked very similar and were, anyway, I'll talk about the next 2 characters in a moment. So there were these 2 characters. One was in closer relation to Lex Luthor, and the other one was another employee at the Daily Planet, and they were both very sexist depictions of women, and I did not appreciate that, James Gunn. I know people are mad about all the, like, woke shit, and I honestly believe that there is a time and a place for sexism in movies, which is why I fucking love Indiana Jones. I love that he's sexist. It makes perfect sense in those movies. Okay? Those depictions of those women were demeaning and gross, and James Gunn probably watches pornography. Anyway, they looked very similar and had very similar clothing. One wore glasses and the other didn't. Anyway, the editor-in-chief of the Daily Planet is a man named Perry Mason, and one of the terrorist members of the Lex Luthor Corporation looked exactly like the guy who they casted for. They were both like bigger middle-aged black men. I was thinking that maybe they were the same character. I was like, wait, is he? Seriously, you look it up. They look very similar. They're both, but also the fact of the matter is that James Cameron, sorry, I keep saying James Cameron would never be this stupid. He's Canadian, not English, James Gunn. You establish all your characters here, James Gunn, in Act 1, okay? You establish them here. You don't add them here in Act 3. That's incorrect, okay? We didn't establish who the editor-in-chief of the newspaper where Clark Kent works until the Act 3 of the movie. And also, we never even saw the fact that we never even saw Clark Kent working. It was never even established that he was a journalist. All he did ever in relation to his work was show up at work and sit down at his desk. We never saw his house. We never saw him writing or even editing or doing anything or supervising anyone or even doing schlep bitch work at an office. He just sat down there and was like, so stupid. I think Clark Kent was actually also kind of a bum in this movie because he did he live in the Arctic lair? Because we didn't see his house. If he lives in Metropolis, if he works in Metropolis, I think bro might need to live there or might, I don't know, benefit from living there. But that wasn't established. He seemed like a bum and he just shacked up with Lois like when he felt like it. Speaking of which, at the beginning of the movie, we saw Lois coming home from work and she heard someone in her apartment and she was like, there was like this kind of long drawn out scene where she even grabbed a baseball bat. Fam, why the fuck wouldn't you have a gun? You're really gonna grab a baseball bat and like think shit's gonna work out? But anyway, so there was this long drawn out scene where she like got home. She heard someone in the kitchen. She heard someone in her apartment. She like grabbed a baseball bat. There's even dramatic music for it. And she was like, and then she went into her kitchen and it was Clark, who she was already dating. If your man has keys to your apartment, wouldn't you just assume it was him in your house and not grab a fucking bat about it? That was so dumb. Listen. Oh my god. Okay, I almost forgot to say this. At one point, I forgot what was even happening all of the way, but Lex Luthor sent this giant monster as a distraction so that Superman would go fight the giant monster. And Superman did, rightfully so, didn't want to kill the giant monster. He just wanted, and the Justice Gang was there helping him. He didn't want to kill the monster. He just wanted to disarm it or, contain it. But Green Lantern killed it. And then Superman was kind of having a moment where everyone was standing around him going, "Oh yes, the Superman." This was just like neck wringing levels of stupid. So everyone was like, "Yay, Superman, yay!" And of course there were kids there being like, "Yay, Superman, yay!" And then like moments after that happened, everyone stopped clapping for Superman and stopped being in awe of Superman's presence, because on a Jumbotron there was like some other bullshit happening. Oh, on the Jumbotron, Lex Luthor was like, "Superman's parents' message says that he's here to kill us all," and everyone was like they immediately went from seeing this giant, hundreds of stories tall monster be killed by Superman and the Justice Gang, and their attention was shifted to a Jumbotron with news on it. Incredibly stupid. Maybe that happens with the English folk, but I digress. Okay. So I'm going to tell you what I liked about this movie, but before I do that, I am going to say what I think was going on here. Obviously, James Gunn has proven himself successful. He did Suicide Squad, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and 3. Those were all blockbuster smashes and made tons of money, right? So what happened was the studio said, "Do you, dude. See you in 8 months. Bye." He was given too much power, left to his own devices, and did a garbage job. I also did not appreciate the depiction of Clark's parents. That was very fucking rude. Can you imagine? Just close your eyes, okay, and play make-believe with me for a moment here. You're rural farmers. You're a man or a woman in a committed, loving marriage. You guys want a child so badly, but unfortunately you're not able to conceive one naturally. This is before all the Frankenstein bullshit that you're allowed to exploit women with now. But, and amazingly, a fucking spaceship crash lands on your property, and when you know it, there's a newborn within it that you get to raise. Someone in that position is going to have to be incredibly strong, incredibly patient, incredibly loving towards this child. But James Gunn decided it was a good idea to depict Clark's parents as stupid hillbillies. That was very rude, and I didn't appreciate that, James Gunn. You, bro, like, okay, I'm going to say this, and it's true, you can't redeem yourself for me. I mean, I think the normies out there liked this movie. I think the normies out there didn't have a problem with this movie. I think the normies out there probably were like, "Oh yeah, seal clap, cool, I'll be here for the next one." But like, I think any other diehard Superman fan did not appreciate that. And I'm saying you can't redeem yourself. In my book, my guy. I don't know, maybe you can, but this movie was so garbage. I just don't think it's possible. Sorry. Okay. What did I like about this movie? I annoy myself because I say the same things. I say the same shit every time. I'm like, okay, here's something I liked. I liked the fact that this was made. Did I? Okay, that's fair. Yes, I like the fact that this was made. I like the fact that we got another Superman movie. If I weren't, a cinema fanatic and seeing it opening day, like, I would still probably see this movie and or just enjoy the fact that we got another Superman movie. How often do we get Superman movies? Not that often. I mean, it's changed now, but first of all, we had the Superman comics, obviously. We had the Superman radio show. We had the Superman television show. That's when the curse really started. I'm sorry, I don't remember that guy's name off the top of my head who was on the television show. We got the Superman television show in the 50s. Pretty sure the 50s. We got the Christopher Reeve Superman in the 70s and 80s. We got the Dean Cain Superman TV show in the 90s. We got Brandon Routh in circa 2008. Not entirely sure on that one. We got Batman versus Superman, which was actually cool, but that actually came after Man of Steel. We got the Man of Steel Henry Cavill Superman, and then we got Batman versus Superman, and we did get some Justice League, but that just has Superman in it. It's not only Superman. And now we get oh my goodness, I'm forgetting his name. His last name is Corin. I don't know if it's Corin Sweat or Corin Sway, but the guy who plays Superman now, who I hope to God is not cursed because he's a good actor. But out of all of these, I don't remember a radio show, the television show, the 90s show. I think I put Justice League in there, but I can't remember. We get 5 iterations of movies? Yeah. I'm gonna remember. Hold on. It's late, you guys. I'm tired at this rate. We got the Christopher Reeve movies. We got the Brandon Routh movie. We got the Henry Cavill movie. I guess I didn't put down Justice League, but we'll still count that because it is in fact a movie, or movies plus, yeah. And then we've got this one, the Corin Sweat ones. I would much rather credit Corin Sweat for this than James Gunn because I now don't like James Gunn. We got 4 or 5 movies out of this. I wouldn't say it's inaccurate. Oh, we also had Smallville, but that was also television. We've got some Superman media, but not a lot of Superman movies, right? We got more television shows than we do movies, but anyway. It happens every so often, right? Here's a question I have, and I'm serious about this, is how many times can we reiterate this? How many times can we reiterate a story from the 30s and have it be relevant to today? I don't actually know, honestly. I mean, Superman, I think he is kind of out of style, but he's kind of not out of style. Consistently, Marvel movies have performed better than DC ones, so maybe we can finally put that rivalry to bed. Anyway. What did I like about this movie? I liked the fact that it made me want to watch other Superman movies. I honestly want to watch the Christopher Reeve movies now, because if I ever saw those, I was young and I don't remember it. I'd love to watch those. I would actually also love to watch the Henry Cavill ones, because as I recall, they were good. Those might be the best ones, really. In all seriousness, those might be the best Superman movies ever. I liked the fact that there was a dog. I liked the fact that Crypto was in this movie. There were also some very fun shots of animals. Like at one point, there was a shot where Superman saved a squirrel in a very, showy and heroic way. That was cool, but very brief. We saw a fair amount of dogs. We did see a cat in a basket. That was actually so funny because, spoiler alert, you guys should just assume you're going to get spoilers in these vids of me reviewing stuff, because that's just what's going to happen. Remember how I said that Lex Luthor created a pocket universe that was at risk of becoming a black hole at any moment? Well, shocker. It did become a black hole. It was funny and stupid, because I borderline wonder if James Gunn can use a fork and knife. But so this was stupid because so the black hole, right, was expanding and it was ripping Metropolis, and oh no, everyone was in trouble and people were running for their lives. What was funny, and this is what makes me wonder if James Gunn can use a fork and knife, is he had people running on a bridge. And there was one guy who had I think he was wearing a backpack, and he had 2 giant suitcases he was running with. Dipshit. If there's something I don't know, a black hole behind you, I don't really think you're going to be dragging your giant suitcases. Putting that out there. He really saw that and didn't think it looked foolish. Okay. I like the fact that this made me want to watch the other Superman movies. I like the fact that I've now made almost an hour-long video about it. I liked the depictions of animals, especially Crypto, in this movie. And I think I'm actually going to make another video pertaining to Superman, because I actually have some questions about Superman that I really want to investigate, because this movie did such a poor job depicting the Superman lore. Such a poor job. Anyway. Was that everything I liked? I mean, if I'm thinking this hard about things, well, I liked Mr. Terrific, but he was just one character. The tone of this movie was off. It was all of the way off. You've got to make a decision if you want to make it serious or funny or lighthearted and serious. It was trying way too fucking hard to be too many things at once. And oh, okay. Oh my god, I'm so glad I said this. I almost forgot to say this. I actually made a point to go to the bathroom during this movie. I normally actually, if I'm really enjoying a movie, I don't like leaving the theater for any reason, because I don't want to miss anything. But I made a point to use the bathroom during this movie so that I could see everyone's reactions during it. Okay, I must have left either at the very end of Act 1 or kind of beginning of second act. And when I came back, that was when I was making a point to look at everyone's reactions. People didn't really look like they were having a good time. Honestly. they were just kind of like, everyone looked bored. Bored as fuck. This one little girl was like sitting with I think her father, and she was actually looking at me when I was coming up the aisle. The movie should be engaging enough to keep kids' attention, and not, they shouldn't be distracted by people walking in the aisle, but it was obviously boring. So anyway, yeah, people didn't really look like they were having a good time, but I will say this, okay, James Gunn, you may not have impressed me, but at the end of the movie, when the credits finally rolled, people did clap. They did, okay? But I'm convinced that's because I loosened them up enough. Listen, I want to say something about grammar because I care about grammar. I looked this up because I actually used to write. Not really professionally, but I tried. This is one word. Let me do it backwards just for y'all. Did you know that I can do that? I can. S always gives me a whirl. Right? We have this word, okay? How would you make this word plural? The fact of the matter is that this is correct. Okay? But I prefer this because I'm not fucking lazy. Metropolis is. Jones is. That's Mr. Jones's car. This is a Danny cat. He put this in a headline in the newspaper. He put just this one, which I find to be very lazy. Both are correct, but I much prefer this one because I think it's fucking lazy not to add a second S just because it's a word that ends in S. Like, stop fucking up the English language, English folk. You guys know that American English is actually closer to the original English? It is. Because when the Puritans came here, they continued speaking older English. So American English, and they evolved but slower over time. So our English is actually closer to Old English than British English is to Old English. So y'all, I love when British folk are like, oh, the Americans, they're really fucking up our language. Like, you guys don't fuck it up with the teeth you're missing, but I digress. The fact of the matter is that American English is closer to how English was originally written and created. Oh, Danny, she's trying to knock over the water. It's okay. So you guys have some nerve. You guys have some nerve being like, oh, Americans fuck up English. Like, no, actually, y'all have fucked up English more because ours is closer to the original English, but I digress. Okay. Is there anything else I want to say about this? I think that's about it. Please don't watch this movie. Don't give James Gunn your money. He doesn't deserve it. He has enough of it already. Bye.